So I hope that's something that can be considered by the council for possible improvements to the plans, since it is kind of state money. I mean, I'm assuming the DEP requirements for the town are kind of why we're doing a lot more of the street cleaning and stuff now, because we have waste and litter going into our storm systems, and then we put those little nice medallions on top of these catch basins, but that doesn't do a lot for the litter that's on the roads that we find. One last thing, sorry, I'm not done. Since we are having a lot more walking with our children with regards to the schools, there is a lot more litter that is being wasted, especially in half days. We have the kids getting these lunch programs, but you're finding a lot of these lunch waste along these walking paths. I'm wondering if, again, a study can be done for the most heavily traveled areas away from the schools, that possible garbage cans can be placed and cleaned by the town, since the town is doing a waste pickup anyway, and their trucks are going by these corners. If it could be like a waste basket, design or something like implemented into these road improvements, that would be, I think, a big help for our litter control.
Absolutely, Mr. Repeat. Thank you very much for your comment. State your name and address for the record.
Hello, David Morissette, 5 Fairview Heights, Phillipsburg, New Jersey. I guess I'll recognize the shout out that I just got. I'm pretty careful about being truthful and accurate, and sometimes giving opinions. If anybody finds something I say that is unfactual or untruthful, I'd be happy to correct it. I guess the next thing I just want to mention, it's actually 2 questions I have. And you can give me a yes or no or silence, that's fine. If you had a bank and you were looking for a teller, and a bank robber applied for that job, would you give him that position? Okay, so if you had a position for a social media committee, and you had somebody with a documented record of multiple times violating digital copyrights, would you give a position to that person? Thank you.
State your name and address for the record.
Jennifer McBride, 401 James Street. I'm actually piggybacking on Jeremiah comment about stormwater management. And from what I understand from my talks with Stan Schreck, it would be needed to enact an environmental commission, which would have to be initiated through a green team via the mayor, via his recommendation through resolution. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure that his stance on the environment, as well as this council's stance on wanting to improve the town of Phillipsburg, we might want to consider moving on to developing that environmental commission, getting that resolution set forward by the mayor, so that we can move forward, hopefully, with the planning and zoning board to be able to create better recommendations for stormwater management.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Randy Piazza, 309 Mercer Street, private individual.
This is a very, very awkward scenario.
Listen, in response to this, what Mr. Morissette had said about his, about his accuracy in social media, one thing I just wanted to make it clear, and I believe that it was Mr. Morissette who had made a couple of comments on the Lehigh Valley Live, mostly using the name, not Facebook, because I don't belong on Facebook. But it was an illusion that we had sold the entire IR property for $2.5 million. That we, am I correct or wrong? Am I right or wrong?
Half of it.
No,
Can we debate in the hallway?
I understand, but I just want to make it clear to everybody in this room. We only sold 220 acres of that property for $2.5 million. And it was sold to the Bridge Development for $43 million by owners. We had nothing to do with the little pack on the side or the core area where all the buildings were. Do I make myself clear, Mr. Morissette?
Yes, if that's a
Former
fact.
Councilman Piazza.
I mean, you
Thank
are
you.
on the planning board.
Thank you. Folks, we are reaching our 30-minute cap. I will go ahead. How many more do we have? 4? Okay. All right. I'm not gonna censor the public. Please feel free. Yes, ma'am.
Keely Raymond, 672 So, I am a product of Phillipsburg. I moved here when I was in first grade. My mom brought me to the youth center. She signed me up. And the director at the time basically looked at my mom and said, you shouldn't bring her here because she'll pick up bad habits. So I never went. And this past September, I started working there as a counselor. And I can tell you 100% that that facility has changed. The amount of kids that are in there on a day-to-day basis is amazing. We have 100 kids in there on a snow day. They've got wrestling, basketball, ballet, twirling, tutoring, you name it, they have it. And not only that, the playground programs, the pool. I didn't have that growing up. I didn't go to playground programs. I went to the low-pack pool instead of the Walton Park pool because it wasn't open, or my mom said, no, we're not going there. But this past summer, my mom went there with my youngest brother, loved it. She told the neighbors, she told the low-pack people. They all came over, cheaper prices, better staff. So my question to you is how can you deduct someone's salary who has made that all happen? Who has made those changes? And now you're deducting is $17,000 because you don't the town council approved her. So you can't tell me there's no application or resume on file if they approved her hire.
I can't respond to a personnel issue, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Name and address for the record.
Melissa Paulus, 26A Glen Avenue, and I also am having some issues with trying to get the truth from the mayor's office. Actually, I'm having problems with getting any answer from the mayor's office. Mr. Morissette has responded to questions that I have posted on social media. And from what I understand, one of them was in reference to my question about justification and tax savings in regards to the position of Deputy Attorney Troxel. Mr. Morissette responded to me that Mr. Wenner's firm had indeed reduced their fees in order for us to retain the services of Mr. Troxel. I sent Mr. Wenner an email, copied you, and you confirmed that that was false. So my question is, how do I get answers to my questions, especially when they're valid questions about our tax-paying money, reducing our taxes, what effect the future debt is going to have on our taxes? Because the meetings that I've been attending, we're looking at going into debt of possibly $14 million, if not more. So I emailed the mayor on February 13th asking for town hall meeting status. I was told by the mayor that they would be scheduled by the end of the week and that they would be posted on the website as well as Facebook. I'm still waiting.
Okay, I have to leave it up to the mayor whether or not he wants to answer that question.
So my question is, how can I get answers? So then I went to social media because obviously that's the only way that he responds to certain people. I'm a taxpayer too. I deserve an answer just like anybody else. And yes, I'm getting angry because, like I said, I want to be treated just like everybody else.
I understand.
I requested a meeting with Mr. Wenner, the mayor, my attorney, and myself. I've gotten no response. So my question is, what do I have to do to get answers to my questions?
I can, in terms of the current bills that are available under the Open Public Records Act, anything that has to deal with finances that have already been spent should be available to you immediately. So
I
within-
submitted overs for everything because that's the only way that I'm getting some information. And from what I understand, my overs are being reviewed by other people, not just Vicky. that they're not being addressed. They're being, I don't know what word to use. I'm not getting it. So you tell me, what do I do? Do I have to file a complaint?
If I recall correctly, I'm not a lawyer, this is not legal advice, but if you feel that your requests are not being addressed appropriately, there's a government records council. Which
I know. I'm very well aware of that. So I will take legal action.
But as far as prospective debt, it's difficult to ascertain the impact of budget because it's still only prospective, so we don't have a definitive plan yet in terms of issuing any debt, at least as far as the rest of the body in terms of, we have not agreed or even heard preliminary proposals, except for the very high level number. So we heard, as you heard at the SOAR meeting, it was an approximation, but I don't believe that we've gotten the in-depth analysis of what that stormwater provision will be.
For the NJEIT, which is now called the NJEIB. Now, just to let you know, 3/4 of that is at 0%. So I think that, I know this is not a sewer meeting, but I think you need to act on that because that's been ongoing for at least 6 months that I've been. And with only having quarterly sewer meetings, I think that's an issue. I've been requesting, and Councilman Lutz has agreed with me, you need to have monthly meetings for this. Now, again, I do believe that you passed a resolution or authorizing the bonding for $2 million. No?
No, we didn't. We didn't pass anything.
I thought that was last year for the,
No, we didn't do it.
for the capital. Okay.
Paulus.
Okay, I know my 2 minutes is up.
Thank you.
But I'd like some answers to my ballot questions as a taxpayer.
Thank you. State your name and address for the record.
John Gupperle, 132 Chambers Street. Last meeting I came up, asked about the left section of Summit Street being paved when they dug it all up. We have any answer?
We're staying still.
Stands in the hallway talking to someone.
Because
It is a
it was
5-year.
posted on social,
1 second, John Emeritus.
Summit's on the agenda.
Summit is on the
We had to
agenda.
wait 1 year until the gas line settled.
right.
Okay.
I was just curious why they didn't finish. They did the whole thing but one end.
No, they did it in
That-
stages. They did it in stages, and you have to wait, the mayor's property is correct. You have to wait 1 year for that hole to settle before they can do anything.
Okay.
That's the procedure.
Second thing is, outgoing Councilman Bernie Fay mentioned at the end of the year last year that there was money allotted to work on all the ball fields. Are we going to be,
With regard to, it is in the budget. I did see the budget that the mayor had given us, and yes, those numbers are in there.
because we're getting to that time of year, because I believe one of the things was backstops in the budget. And as the father of a former catcher for Still Hill, 10 years ago, they were out of shape.
I can tell you that we do have our budget hearings. This will be my first time in a budget hearing. Are they public, council?
Yes.
They are public. I would invite you to attend the budget hearings. This way you can hear what it is that we're doing and discussing.
All right,
Thank you very much, Mr. Kushner. Even though I know you, you still have to state your name and address.
My name is Kia Walters. My address is 380 Center Street. I really just wanted to come and get some clarity on the whole youth center issue. My kids play for Still Hill. We've been at Still Hill for about 8 years now. And it was a concern to me when I got some information saying that my children may not be able to finish their basketball season this year. I'm usually not a person, I don't get involved in the politics and things of that nature. I don't know the details behind the situation, but to my understanding, some funding was cut from the Frick Youth Center. The youth center couldn't afford to continue the recreational program. We were going to have to pay like $150 an hour per basketball game, which is something that we could not afford. So I just wanted to get clarity on what the situation is and to ensure that my children will be able to continue in their recreational programs that are afforded to them by the youth center.
Yes. I sat with President Jeff Russo for 3 hours on Sunday evening. There was no funding cut to the youth center, and you will have you will have a successful season. Everything is paid for. I believe Jay Yarnell sent out an email to everyone, letting everyone know that you guys were okay for the rest of the year.
Yeah, but to my understanding, that funding was donated by some anonymous people. It wasn't anything that came from the town.
The town has already given them a stipend for the 2017 season. Because our budget has not been approved, and this is the normal course of process, after the budget is approved, the youth center will receive their funding from the town. And I believe it's April 18th is the time that, approximately around mid-April, as has been the case in previous years. So yes, no funding has been cut. Unfortunately, I can't pinpoint where the origin of it, but I did see the letter. I did reach out to Mr. Russo, and we did meet, and he had spoken with the heads of both clubs.
So moving forward, this year, this is not gonna come up again as another issue next year.
Well, I wish I could tell you it's not going to come up next year, but I could not speak for the youth center. They are a private entity, even though they are a nonprofit. But what I can tell you is that after speaking with Mr. Russo, that both the town and the youth center truly are committed to the children.
That's all I need to know. I'm holding you to that, Bob.
You know where I live.
You know I do.
Yes, ma'am. State your name and address for the record, sir.
Lee Clark, 341 Hackney Street. Now forgive me, this is the first time I've ever spoken at the podium, so if I don't come off as good, you'll know why. So I wasn't planning on coming up to speak tonight, but in the course of 6 minutes, I just saw something disgusting. I saw numerous residents get up here and attack a normal citizen for going on Facebook. Now, this is the kind of stuff that we see on social media. It's a habit becoming a terrible, terrible tendency, and we can't put up with that these days, all right? Now I'm a taxpaying citizen of Phillipsburg, and I'm here to say that I will not stand for that kind of behavior. If that's going on social media, then that is your right. It is a public spectrum. We will not deal with it here. This is a place of laws and respect. This is not a podium for hatred or bullying, but the sharing of ideas and concerns. That's all I want to say.
Mr. Clark, that's a very good comment. I appreciate that. Thank you. You're very welcome.
And that's all I wanted to say.
Thank you.
Don Dickey, Randall Street, and I hate microphones, but that's beside the point.
We can hear you.
I have one question for you, Mr.
Yes, sir.
Goldberg. I know it's tabled, and as council, and I should say like council, I didn't get a chance to read the ordinance in its entirety. But I noticed that there's no provision for any of the parking lots for people who would buy a permit during events to park in those lots. Are they going to be subjected to have to pay that fee during the events? Because there's nothing in the ordinance, the way it's written, that states they will not have to, but can still use the lot.
So during special events,
Correct.
You're asking whether or not parking is free.
For the people who hold the permit for that lot.
If the event is in that parking lot, they would not be able to park there. Is that?
No, that's not. Like, for instance, we're talking about the Easter train.
Sure.
Or Thomas the Tank. When we utilize those parking lots for out-of-towners who have to pay the parking fee, I did not see anything that says if you are a resident during the event, you do not have to pay that extra money.
If you have a permit, you can park in that lot.
But it's not worded.
It wasn't.
I didn't see
It is in there. Right. We can
But
clarify
it
what
did
the
not
language
say-
is in there.
It said you can use it, but it didn't say during the event. It didn't-
As long as you have a valid parking permit for that lot, you can use that lot.
That's all I need.
Thank you. Mr. Minor.
I'm Joe Miner. I live at 392 South Main Street in Phillipsburg. I am going to give the date for the next meeting of the present committee. The vacant house problem in Phillipsburg is still our subject. We'll give it twice, once at the beginning and once at the end. The next meeting will be at 394 South Main Street on Sunday, February 25th, from 1:45 to 3 p.m. If you attend, you are a member. Now, I'm going to give you the little bit of the stat. The vacant house problem in Phillipsburg is what we're working on. The unoccupied properties without certificates of occupancy with institutional mortgages are being successfully reduced by the new ordinance that fines the mortgage holder. Time is solving this root problem. It would help further if we encourage poorer people to keep their homes, attract resident owners to buy Phillipsburg properties, and discourage bad absentee landlords who are attracted by tax sales and high rents. If on the other side we help our minimum wage workers, then all the better. It is legal to have a roommate in R1 zoning. Promoting it will keep our poor in town. Modern Maturity, which has been promoting the benefits of dual occupancy for seniors for years and having a lot of trouble.
Mr. Meyer, these would be excellent comments for our work session when we review the rental properties ordinance.
Well, this isn't rental property. This is what we're going to be talking about I'll be
At your
there
meeting,
too.
yes?
Yes.
So then I would ask that you discuss that.
Am I anywhere near 2 minutes yet?
Yes, yes you are.
May I read the rest of it?
30 seconds.
I'll never get it all. The attraction to agree to conditions of the given owner contractual protection through fair practices. At the next meeting, the topics will be the resident-subordinate resident agreement, rent control or equivalent, safety and pestilence inspection before each new tenant, rather than by timetable. Time contracted pestilence control over areas rather than individual properties when